At Calypso's isle, Odysseus does weep and sigh for home. At Ithaca, Telemachus and Penelope are, well, having a bit of trouble now. Penelope has suitors who won't leave. The rule of hospitality is this: when you have visitors, then you must feed them well and never tell them that it's time to go. The suitors all know this, and for some time they've been drinking all the wine and more. They've been eating up the food, the finest meats. The stores are nearly gone. Telemachus, frustrated with all this, considered how to tell them all to leave, politely, though. It maddened him. He paced and shook his head. And at that very moment, way up there on high Olympus, the gods were drinking wine. Gray-eyed Athena spoke to Zeus. She said, "Can we finally, after all this time, Odysseus bring home? I feel for him." And Zeus says, "Good idea." Athena says, "Send Hermes, then, to the Augean island to tell Calypso that we've made up our minds. Odysseus will return to Ithaca. I will myself to Ithaca to tell Telemachus to call to assembly the Achaeans and to speak out against all his mother's suitors, who are eating them all out of house and home. Rude men they are, and truly this must finally be stopped." So saying, she flew down to Ithaca, where she disguised herself. She likes that stuff, as does Odysseus, you will see. As Mentor, chief of the Taphians, she found Telemachus as he watched all the suitors eating, drinking, playing dice, the men that served them cutting up the meat, cleaning tables down, and serving up the wine. Telemachus did mutter to himself, "Oh man, if Dad were here, he'd settle this. He'd send each one of you packing, he would." And then he saw Athena at the gate. "Oh, great, another one," he said, and let her in. "Welcome, you shall have a meal, and then you'll say what brings you here into our house." And they went in, and they sat down apart from the carousing suitors. Mentor asked, "So what's all this party about?" Telemachus told Mentor all about the state of things in Ithaca and at his house. "Then truly you are wanting a return of crafty Odysseus to your home. I'm sure that when he arrives, he will take care of this. I'll tell you what, call an assembly of these bad Achaeans tomorrow morning, right? And lay your case before them. Bid them leave and get a ship and go to Pylos and ask Nestor of your father's whereabouts. Then go to Sparta. Menelaus knew your father well. And if you find your dad is on his way, then go back home and you will simply wait for his return. But if you find Odysseus is dead, well then, you come back here and perform the funeral rites and marry off your mon. But ponder this. I'll bet these guys aren't very honest men. And given half the chance, they'd do you harm to get you off their path, Telemachus. So, prudence would dictate you make a plan how best, by fair or foul, to kill these men. You are almost a grown-up now. You're smart. Go, make a name that they can sing about. I've got to go. My ship awaits me now. I thank you for the meal, Telemachus. Remember well what I have said to you." And with these words, Athena transformed into a bird and flew away. Telemachus knew that Mentor was a god. He felt it there. Penelope came in, and immediately Telemachus sent her away. "I am the master here." He went to bed and wept. She went to bed and wept for her husband. She missed him very, very much. And then Telemachus announced, Stop the song, you insolent and shameless suitors. Here, let feasting be our pleasure now, but in the morning, meet me in full assembly so that I may give full notice that you all will leave our house and feast elsewhere, maybe at one another houses in turn. But if you just insist on sponging on one man, then Zeus will tally up your debt and make you pay, and pay for it with your lives." The suitors jeered at him, went back to feasting and then drinking up their wine. Of course they'd meet with him. The night was young, best not to think of tomorrow's thoughts today. And so the men caroused. Telemachus went off to bed, where all night he did think of his coming trip, and of Athena's words, and of revenging, and of his father, too. When now the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, appeared, Telemachus, Odysseus' son, put sandals on and donned his sword. And now he called the people to assembly, and when they were all present, he took his father's seat. Aegyptus, old and wise, was first to speak. "Mark me, from the day Odysseus went away, there's been no council seated until now. Have you got wind of someone's ill approach and therefore wish to warn us?" Telemachus said, "You will shortly learn. I've got no wind of anyone's approach. My beef is personal. These men here, way too long, are pestering to wed my mother against her will. It's true. They won't do things the proper way. That is, they won't see her father, but at our house by day and night, they eat and drink us homeless. Our estate cannot hang on much longer. My house will soon be ruined and disgraced. Have respect. But if that my father were here, you'd fear dishonor and ruin by his hands. Fear then the gods, for heaven will be displeased and turn on you. I have no remedy but to appeal to common sense and public opinion. I now demand that all of you leave my house." Antinous responded to his demand with this. Telemachus, insolent boy, don't lay the blame on us, suitors. It's your mother's fault. For nearly 4 years she's been working us, saying one thing and then the opposite, sending us messages that have no meaning. And then that other trick, when she, your mother, weaving morning, noon, and night, she said, "Oh, do not make me wed till I have completed this Laertes' shroud against the time when he shall die." Then every night she'd pull the weavings out. Yes, for 3 years it took us to notice, but we can't be fooled forever. Now she has to finish up that shroud, the suitors. Therefore make this answer now. Your mother send away and let her wed one of her own or of her father's choice. I've no idea what happens if she continues with her present course, except to say that till she chooses one or another of us, we will not go away. You're kidding me. How can I drive my mother from her home? That's just ridiculous. Besides, we don't know yet whether Odysseus is dead or whether he is alive. I will have none of this nonsense. Oh, you can take offense, and if you do, then leave the house and feast and make your parties at one another's house, at one another's costs, turn by turn about. And if on the other hand you do elect expunging on one man alone, well then may heaven help you. Zeus will get involved, and then you may fall in my father's house, and no one will weep for you. And as he spoke, Zeus sent 2 eagles down over the assembly, and they did wheel about and cry, tore fiercely at each other, fiery-eyed, and soon as they appeared, flew off towards town. In wonder and amazement spoke the crowd, till Halitherses, wise in omens, spoke, "Oh, hear me now, you men of Ithaca! Odysseus won't be away much longer. Repent before you can't. My prophecy from long ago is being fulfilled. 'Twas when he set out from Troy, so 'tis now, that he should come home 20 years away, that none would know him. It's coming true. Eurymachus, go home, old man, and prophesy to your children and your goats. It's only birds. Birds fly about. It means nothing. I tell you, Odysseus is dead, and pity 'tis you're not dead with him. Yeah, there, I said it. Telemachus, send back Penelope and to your mother, to your father's house. Let him find a husband? No. let him send us all away? No. What is your move? I say no more. The gods in Ithaca have heard my suit. Let them decide what's best. With this, the assembly broke up, and then Telemachus went home, where once again he found the same suitors he'd just spoken to, all twice in spades, with wine and meat and music loud and song. Telemachus went down to the sandy beach, and he prayed to the god that visited him yesterday. "O you divine, who bade me search the world to find my father, help me now to do so." Athena heard his prayer from far away. At once Athena came. "Telemachus, if truly you're your father and your mother's, then your voyage won't be fruitless. Just be as wily as your father and as clever as your mother, and you won't go wrong. I will arrange a ship and volunteers for you. These suitors do not know the death and doom that shortly will befall them. Get your gear. See that everything is well stowed, Telemachus. I'll get your ship prepared and see you shortly." Telemachus went in, and there they were, all wine-soaked, singing pigs, slurring speech. Antinous, "Telemachus, why do you never eat and drink with us no more? Bear us no more ill? We'll give you ships and men, then you can go out and find your dad. I cannot eat or take any pleasure with any men or men like you, Antinous, and I will do you all the harm I can." One said, "Telemachus means to be our death, so he thinks to get help from Pylos or from Sparta, or he will to a Phero as well for poison for our wine and kill us too." A Greek pharmacological geographic joke. That joke kills in Macedonia. Another said, "Perhaps Telemachus will like his father be and perish far away from all his friends, and then we should have some luck. We'd cast lots for his property and the wife." That was how they spoke. Athena, occupied with acting plots, bethought her something else. She took his shape, went all about the town, secured the ship, engaged a crew, and tackled out the craft. And now the crew came down to the dock, and she, still in the guise of Odysseus' son, addressed them bravely. "Ahoy, and welcome!" Then she went to Odysseus' house and struck the suitors in a stupor deep. Their cups to ground did clatter, and they wandered home. Athena, in the guise of mentor, said, "Telemachus, now it is time to go. Your ship supplied is ready. 20 crew await your order. Take the tide, away." She walked before them, and he followed her, down to the docks, where he said, "Let's be off." Telemachus sat at the stern. Athena next to him, the hawsers slipped. The sails came down. Athena raised her hand for fair west wind. The sail bellied out, the foam did hiss, and outward sped the craft, through cresting blue across the dark reaches of the watery deep, from dark gray-eyed dusk till rosy-fingered dawn across the wine-dark sea. They came to Pylos, home of Nestor the wise. I told you that we'd meet him given time. But there's no time for Nestor. So if you're interested in what he has to say, don't wait for me to tell you. Read the book. But this I'll tell, that Nestor knew nothing and sent the boy away to Sparta, where Menelaus lives with Helen, she that they fought about for 10 long years. Remember Helen, the face that killed 1 million guys? The servants came and mixed the wine in bowls, and old man and his wife and all the guests did eat and drink and tell the tales by turns. Old Menelaus, he told stories of the war and of Odysseus and his bravery. At one point, Helen chimed in, Menelaus' wife, Paris's lover, she whose beauty much was destroyed for, in the middle of Menelaus' war story, to say, I'm really sorry I was such a whore. And Menelaus, husband that he is, says back to her, oh, it's okay, my dear. I'm sorry too, but as they say, spilled milk. And then they had more meat and more wine. At Sparta, there was information, though. Old Menelaus told this awesome tale. He heard from one who lives beneath the wine-dark sea, blah, 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 blah. The upshot was, your father lives. He's been imprisoned in the house of the nymph Calypso, and he can't go home, for he has lost his ships, alas. He sorrows bitterly for Ithaca and longs to see you and your mother fair. Then I must go. Nay, stay a dozen days and we'll give you horses, lad. Sir, Ithaca is better suited for the goat than the horse. I'd rather have a plate or something, sir. Such choices prove your breeding. Here's a bowl. Meanwhile, on high Olympus, the gods have made their minds up. Odysseus must be released, and Hermes will go to tell Calypso this. Straight away he flew over sea and land and sea, till he arrived at the land where she lives. And he approached her cave, which smelled of burning cedar, sandalwood. Inside there was a grove of trees and vines of grapes, and birds did nest there also, owls and hawks, all kinds of birds. And running rills of water feed violets. So charming was this place, the god admired it in silence. Calypso knew Hermes at once, for all the gods know one another. She was alone. Odysseus was on the beach as usual, looking toward Ithaca with tears in his eyes. His heart was sorrow cracking yet again. Calypso said, welcome, Hermes, and ever, why do you visit me? It is an honor. Say what I can do, and I will do it. We're speaking, god and goddess, well, god and nymph, two divines at any rate, yes? I can be frank with you. Zeus sent me here, none else. He who cannot be transgressed, says you have here the most ill-starred hero who has fought in the 9 years in Troy, Odysseus. He says that you must now release him to go home. It is decreed that he'll not die here, but go at once to his own country and his house. Calypso trembled in her rage. You gods ought to be ashamed of yourselves. It makes you jealous when a goddess takes a fancy to a mortal and sleeps with him instead of giving it up to you. You make me sick. I found him clinging to the remnants of a hull, you know, half dead and nearly crazed by what he'd seen. I took him in, gave him shelter, yes, and I got fond of him and cherished him and set my heart on making him immortal so that in all his days he might never grow old. Still, Zeus cannot be crossed. Therefore, I will comply, but I cannot send him myself anywhere, for I have no ships. But I will give him such advice as will likely be to send him along his way. Then do it, or Zeus will deal harsh with you. And Hermes left. Whoosh! Calypso went out to find Odysseus, but of course she found him sitting on the beach, eyes ever filled with tears and dying from sheer homesickness. Calypso said, Odysseus, you won't stay here, grieving and fretting more. Of my free will, I'm sending you away. Go cut some beams of wood and make a raft to carry you over the seas, and I will put bread, wine, and water, clothes, and send a wind, fair wind, to take you home. The gods have willed it. Goddess, this reeks. What are you really up to? You'd put me to sea on a raft when, well, you know, no doughty ship and fairest wind could make it back from here. Nothing you say or do will make this be a raft unless you swear to, will make me take a raft unless you swear to do me mischief none. She smiled at him. You're wise, but here you're wrong, Odysseus. By heaven above and earth below and by the waters of the Styx, I swear I mean you nothing harmful and advise only what I would do myself were I in your shoes. My heart's not made of iron, though, and I will miss you, Odysseus. She kept him one more night, of course. But then it was time for crafty Odysseus to make his raft. It took 4 days, and when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, arose upon the 5th, he sailed with fresh supplies and gear Calypso gave. 10 days and 7 he did sail, but then Poseidon noticed, gathered up his clouds, and roused the raging wind that the night sprang forth. A heavy sea arose, and blowing rain came down on him from all the compass points. Odysseus' hope began to fail then, and he spoke up to no one but himself. Would I had died in Troy, for then I would at least be given proper burial. But now I wot I'm marked for death at sea, and now forever wandering my bleak soul, eternal, restless, never more to find my home, my happy home, my wife and child, I am consigned. My spirit shall not rest a fate as bad or worse as death than this. Whatever will become of me, all's lost. A wave broke over him. He lost his grip. The craft, such as it was, all came apart. Odysseus' raft became a pile of flotsam now, as he clung to nearly nothing, and 2 days and nights he floated in the swell. Death stared him in the face, rising, falling, up and down, a speck of humanity floating all alone in the wine-dark sea. But then, way off ahead, Odysseus saw land, and like a child rejoices when his father's evil illnesses abate, cried out, "At last!" But then he heard the surf, the thundering spray against the jagged rocks, and saw there were no harbors near, nor shelter anywhere, but only hazard up ahead. But he resolved to make a landfall then and there. The waves against the jagged rocks did smash Odysseus, and tore his hands to bloody, throbbing shreds. His clothes ripped from his frame just like the skin, and twice he tried to make it, but he could not, and swam away, and presently he found a river mouth, where shelter of the wind, and prayed, "Hear me, great Zeus, and save me from Poseidon's wrath. Anyone who's lost his way at all times has a claim for help. Even to the gods he has a claim. Bestow your mercy on me, king, and I am your suppliant." Zeus heard the prayer from far away and made it so. The waves went calm, the current bore the hero to the shore, and he washed up like so much driftwood now. He could not breathe or speak or walk or think. Athena covered him in sweet black sleep. Just up the river a ways, and a bit off, King Alcinous' place was at rest. But soon it happened, yes, the child of the morning, rosy-fingered Dawn, appeared, and then the people of the palace were awake, and Nausicaa, the king's fair daughter, went down to the river to wash her clothes. She didn't go alone, of course. Her maids came with her, and they washed, and they played, and one threw a ball which whizzed past the sleeping Odysseus and plopped into the drink. The girls all laughed, and the racket woke him up. People, says he to himself. I wonder what manner of people they be, civilized or savage, humane or hateful? Odysseus needs to know. He grabs a leafy branch and put it on. I have no clothes on. And approached the maid. And Nausicaa, my God, that girl was hot. He hoped his cloak was good. When he approached, the maids all gasped, "A man!" And they ran away, but not Nausicaa. Odysseus was the first to speak. "O queen, I do employ your aid, but tell me first, are you a goddess or a girl? You make me joyful just to look at you. You see me, a broken man, bruised and naked. Might you be so kind to point the way to town? Could you lend me clothes as well? Stranger, you seem sensible if unlucky. You shall not want for clothes or food or anything that a foreigner in distress might reasonably request. Here, put this on." She tossed a lady's shift for him to wear. "My name's Nausicaa. I'm daughter of King Alcinous. I'll bring you back to our palace, and there you'll have food, and you can meet my parents." When they arrived, youthful Nausicaa told Odysseus, "Go straight in and be bold. Say what you want, all right?" Odysseus went in. They gave him food and wine, fresh clothes, such things as travelers need. The king and queen now introduced themselves and asked him, "Now you've dined and such, so tell us all your name and where you're from and why you're here, a foreigner among us. How you came as well, for surely you did not arrive here on your feet." Odysseus then told his name to them and told his tale. He told how he was on his way home after war, how the Cicones came and ate his men alive, the lotus eaters marring memory, the Cyclops' cruel cannibalistic roar, Aeolian winds escaping from the bag, the Lystragonians eating of his men, and how all his ships were lost but his, Circe's imprisonment of him, and more, the trip to Hades, the land of all the dead, and how the sirens sang their poison song, and Scylla's deadly human-eating maw, the ship-devouring vortex, Charybdis, the great mistake of killing all those cows, and how Calypso kept him for her mate, the voyage in the raft and now ashore, how Nausicaa found him, bruised and naked, and when he was done, it took all day to tell them. In the king and queen and court, they stared at him in silence for a while, and finally, the queen said, "You really should go home. I'm certain your wife is missing you." "Yes, well, I miss my wife. I cannot say just how much I have missed her. And my son, I have been trying to get home 9 years, and true, I have had disasters on the way, catastrophes, they follow me around, but I'm not done trying to get home. You're all tenacity, Odysseus. Well, as you know, now I'm down to nothing. If possible, I would enlist your help. The king said, yes, indeed, you shall go home. Ithaca is not far off at all. Tonight you sleep, tomorrow you will ship. King Alcinous set him up. A craft, a crew, some maidens, wine, and golden gifts, gave him a barbecue and sent him home across the wine-dark sea to Ithaca. The ship arrived. Odysseus was asleep. Not knowing what to do, not wanting to awaken him, they gently laid him down, still in his blanket now upon the sand, and left his gifts with him right there. And then they did return to where they came from, and when they were out of sight and the sun was high, Odysseus awoke, alone, aggrieved, not knowing he was in Ithaca, and still thinking himself in unknown lands and now abandoned, he bewailed his fate. And presently a shepherd came along. In fact, Athena in disguise, because she, like Odysseus, loves to play at dress-up to confuse you. And she said, my friend, my salutations. Where am I? What manner of people live here, can you tell me? Be they civilized or savage, humane or hateful? Athena, shepherd, answered him, good sir, let me be first to welcome you to our fair island, rocky Ithaca. My home, said he, but only to himself. Aloud, he told the shepherd, I've heard of it. And then he told some lies about himself. Odysseus was by his nature wily, and by instinct he smelled some danger here. And zap! Athena's shepherd costume gone, and she says, do not lie to me, Odysseus. No, rather lie to enemies and foes. I will protect you ever, but you must be true to me. Your home's not safe, you know. It's full of men who would have you dead and worse, but they'd also bed your wife Penelope. But now you're back, and so we must think how to lay your hands upon these men who have been lording it in your house for so long, courting your wife where only she laments. I shall avenge it. I would hope you would. They've been consuming everything you have, and I know what you need, Odysseus. You need a great disguise. Out her wand, and poof! He was transformed into a homeless man, all wrinkled and old, bald and bleary-eyed. His clothes were now just rags begrimed with soot, and she said, perfect! No one will suspect. Go see your swineherd, Eumaeus. He is devoted to you and to yours, and suss out before you can go and make an appearance at your house. Go home, and I'll go and get Telemachus. And zap! She disappeared in a flash of light. Odysseus walked the rocky wooden path toward the swineherd's hut. Eumaeus was not just his employee, but his friend, and soon he stood before the hut, and he could see his house from there. Eumaeus sat by the hut where his pig run was, tooling a pair of sandals now. Odysseus approached, and Eumaeus welcomed him. Oh, welcome, stranger. Well, how do you do? You look something well-traveled. Do come in. Eumaeus cooked a pig for them, and pouring wine, he said, I know, it's lean. The fat ones go up to the big house where the suitors eat them, bastards that they are. The blessed gods loves not such shameful doings. They eat Odysseus' food, they drink his wine, they'll take his wife if they think they can. Whoever marries her becomes the king. So I just keep sending up more pigs. My friend, who is this Odysseus that you speak of? Dead or somewhere far away? The tears welled up in the swineherd's eyes. I shall honor his memory always. A kind, good master, likely killed at war or lost at sea. Bad business, I tell you. But he was noble, good, and loved by all. You say your master's dead. He's dead as nails. I swear your master's coming. I swear by Zeus. I swear by all the rites of hospitality that your master's hearth, that he's on his way. Now listen, you. Odysseus is dead. Hobos and tramps have come here for years, and they all say the same thing. Your master's coming home. Just drink your wine, and let's talk of something else. Don't keep reminding me of Odysseus. It's just too sad to even think about. Instead, tell me the tale of you, your town, your parents, where you traveled to. Tell me about the ship that brought you here and how your voyage was and how the crew, for truly, I know you did not come here on your feet. Odysseus then spun this crazy tale, how he'd been a slave, then bought his liberty, he fell in love, he'd married rich, he spent some time in Egypt, and then he'd heard from one who knew and seen that Odysseus was alive and coming home. Oh gods, just leave it, will you? What kind of man goes around telling lies like that? I'm telling you, your master's coming home. Just eat. And soon the night came on, and Eumaeus made a pallet for the stranger by the fire and bade him sleep well, while he himself went out and slept beneath the stars, all twinkling the night. And as the morning Rosy-fingered dawn lit up the east. Odysseus, disguised, was eating breakfast with the swineherd, and with warning none, Telemachus comes in. Eumaeus jumps to his feet. "Great gods! You're suddenly returned, Telemachus. So glad to see you. I suppose you are keeping an eye on those suitors?" "I am. Is my mother still at her old home, or did she get married off?" "Oh, she's at home." "Who's this?" "Oh, just some ancient homeless guy who's taken refuge here." "Sir, you are welcome. I'll send you clothes to him. But see this, he can't come up to the house. The suitors are just so insolent, they're sure to treat him ill, and I won't have that happen while I'm here. Eumaeus, go tell my mom I'm home. I won't go up there myself right now. I'm just too mad." Eumaeus went to tell the news, and now Athena whispered to Odysseus, "It's time to tell him who you are." And zap! He was himself again. Telemachus said, "Who are you? Are you a god?" "No god, but truly I am your father, on whose account you suffer at the hands of these lawless men." At first, this fact was not to believe, but soon Telemachus embraced his dad, and then they plotted how to deal with the suitors. Telemachus was fearful that they might not pull it off. Odysseus said, "Go home, my son, and make pretend that I am still away. Then the swineherd will bring me in disguised as the beggar. Say nothing if they treat me ill, and then when I nod to you, then gather up the armor. On some pretense, put it up in the storeroom, but leave a sword and spear apiece for us, and a couple of shields. And one more thing, tell no one I am back. I mean no one. Not the swineherds, not the servants, no, not even your mother, Telemachus. Surprise and secrecy." Telemachus agreed, and suddenly Athena zapped Odysseus back into his disguise, and then the swineherd came in, having said his bit to Penelope about Telemachus being back. They ate, they drank, they slept till morning came. Telemachus went home and told his mom about his trip, and Eumaeus took Odysseus, disguised, to see his house. It took some time to get there. They were old. And when they did arrive, they found the suitors out in front and throwing spears and discs, and up to their old insolence, when they came in earshot, the suitors yelled stuff like, "Hey, cur, heads up! I hear your mother gives it out for cash. You smell!" They paid no mind. Odysseus said to Eumaeus, "This house is fine indeed. Would that Odysseus would return and put it back in order, but these men are scandalously rude." "Oh, you've no idea," said Eumaeus. And as they spoke, an old dog lying down pricked up its ears to hear its master speak. Full 20 years this dog, the faithful Argos, waited for Odysseus to return, and now he had come home. He heard the voice and tried to get up on his feet and wag, but he could not, just too old. So long a wait. And lying there, once noble, now a flea-bag, old trusted Argos wagged his tail and died. And good Odysseus shed a tear for him. "That dog," said Eumaeus, "did belong to he that's dead, Odysseus. But now I guess he's gone just like his master, poor fella. Let's go in." And in they went. Telemachus the pair saw first. The bard was singing and suitors eating well. Telemachus bade Eumaeus to sit by him, and also took a loaf of bread and hunk of meat and a cup of wine, and said, "Eumaeus, give these to the stranger and bid him beg round the hall. Beggars must not be shamefaced." Eumaeus did so, and Odysseus replied with, "Zeus fulfill all happiness to you, Telemachus." Athena's voice was heard, "Beg bread from each, and find out who is good and who is bad." Odysseus went round the room with a cup, like a real beggar stretched out in his arms, like so. Some gave him bread for pity, others not, and some were merely curious, of course, and when he got to Antinous, he got a kick. "Great gods, now we have not enough of tramps and beggars pestering us, you cur." Eumaeus said, "Antinous, you may be well born, but you are stupid. You know not this man. He may be just a healer or some foreign prince, you know. Shut up, old pig man. Go and eat your farts. Here, beggar man, have this." And he threw his stool at Odysseus. It broke upon his back. He staggered not, but stood stock still as one who broods upon revenge. Penelope was watching this. She said, "Would that Apollo'd strike you so." And then, "I've had enough. I'll marry one of you. You who abuse the hospitality of absent Odysseus, who owns this house. Go, get his bow and his axes too. Through each of these 12, whoever can string Odysseus' bow most easily and also send his arrow through each of the 12 axes marries me. Him I will follow and so quit the house of my lawful husband. But even so, doubt not I will remember it in my dreams." A long pause. Telemachus gets up. "Make no excuses for delay. Even I will try my skill, and if I win, I will not suffer my mom to leave this house." At once he sprang into action, setting up the 12 axes in a row so straight, and got out the bow. He tried 4 times to string it, but he could not, saying, "Nope, not today. Someone else begin. I want this contest settled." Then Leodes tried and failed. Eurymachus, Antinous, all failed. The bow could not be strung, only by Odysseus. And finally, Odysseus gave the nod that said, "Secure the stuff, Telemachus." With that, Telemachus secured the gear, took all the weapons from their room but theirs, and locked the doors so nobody could leave. Odysseus took the bow, examined it, and with one skillful move, he strung the bow as easy as a bard strings up a lyre. He twanged the string to prove it, and it sang. The heart of every suitor sank as he notched up an arrow, took his aim, and then let fly with aim as true as anything, and flew the bolt through every handle hole of those 12 axes, and out the courtyard did it fly. Your guest has not disgraced you. Now see, the contest ends. I win. Let's see if I can hit another mark as true as that. The first to go was that ass Antinous. The arrow hit him in the throat. His cup flew into the air and his nose gushed blood. And as he fell, he kicked the table over. Now the suitors raised a clamor, cried, "Doomed man, you shall not shoot at us. You've killed a noble youth and you shall die. The vultures will devour you for this." Athena, standing by, invisible, then made him seem Odysseus again. She touched him and his rags were gone. His hair was back. And as he stood every inch Odysseus, "Dogs, did you not think that I would return? My substance you have wasted, and you've forced my women servants to lie with you. You've wooed my wife while yet I was alive. You fear not God or man, now you will die." Eurymachus was next, to the liver. Then Amphimous, by Telemachus, Agelaus, Amphimedon, Phytander, Eurynomus, Diptomalus, Polybolus. Athena fought his mentor. Down went Eurydamas, Satippus, Damaster, Leocritus. The suitors quelled, their hearts quailed as they fell like cows by gadflies maddening in the spring, but there was hardly any room. Now penned Odysseus, Athena, Eumaeus, and Telemachus did slaughter them. Blood splattered everywhere. They slipped on it by turns. The suitors died, and everywhere there was carnage. And suddenly one rushed forward unarmed. The priests, Leodes, knelt before Odysseus. "Spare me," he said. "I tried to stop them, but they would not listen. I was their priest, and if you kill me now, I shall die without deserving. No thanks for all the good I did." "You were their priest? You must have prayed just once that I would not return so that you might have children by my wife. I saw you try to string my bow, Leodes. I saw, therefore you die. Odysseus!" Shoom! He struck the priest so hard, his head flew off, rolled in the dust while he was yet speaking, and that body fell. Another knelt before Odysseus, the bard who had been forced to sing for all of them. Phytimus, son of Terpes, laid his lyre upon the ground. "Sir, spare me," he cried. "They made me sing for them, and I didn't want to do it. I'll sing for you as though you are a god. Believe me, I know how. Ask Telemachus. I didn't want to do this gig, but they were too forceful, too many." Telemachus said, "Hold, spare him, father. This man is guiltless. We will harm him not." Phemius trembled where he knelt, eyes shut. Odysseus says, "Fear not, story man. Go and tell the others how good deeds do prosper better than bad ones do." Phemius went straight home and instantly composed a brand new ballad. Now the suitors, they were dead, and now the maidservants were summoned to dispose of all the carcasses. The disloyal ones were hanged when all the work was done, and then Odysseus had his house cleaned, and all about he went with burning sulfur to purify the space. And finally he went upstairs to see Penelope, his wonderful, aggrieved wife. He knocked. She said, "Come in. There's a bath for you." He bathed. She did not speak at all to him. He dried and dressed. Still she did not speak. He sat himself down beside her, yet no speech. "Penelope," he spake, and she spoke not. "Wife," entreated he. No words from her. He was confused, dismayed, and mickle hurt. "My dear," he said, "heavens endowed you with a heart more unyielding than ever pumped. No other woman could keep silent when her husband's just returned from 20 years, and after enduring so much so long. Tonight I sleep alone, I guess. Your heart is hard as iron. He got up, and she said, Sir, I have no wish to set me up, nor to devalue you, but I'm not struck by your appearance. Well, I do recall what manner of man he was before he left. I knew Odysseus, but you are not him. My man was young. Oh, that was long ago. Wife, see, you have also aged. Oh, we'll have none of that. But as you are a stranger, I will give the best I have for comfort. I will have my bed brought out into the hall for you to rest in. He stopped, and he turned. My bed? Wife, I am much displeased by what you've said. Who has moved my bed? He must have found it truly a hard task, unless some god has helped him do it. No human could have moved this bed. It is a marvel and a curiosity. I made that bed when I did build this house. I built that room around an olive tree that stood behind that very door right there. I dressed its boughs till it was a stump, which made the center post the bed prop, fashioned it myself. The tears welled up, inlaid it with gold and silver, and stretched a crimson hide thereon. The first time we made love there. Now tell me, who has moved my bed, Penelope? This was all the proof she needed. Oh, she threw her arms around him and she cried, Odysseus, I was so afraid. How heaven hath denied us of our youth and growing old. I've shuddered to think someone might come and try to pass for you with lying stories. The world is full of wicked people, and we sin because the gods put sin in our hearts, but no one has ever seen our bed but us. And now I know you're really you. And I, suspicious that I am, release all my mistrust now that you are here with me. Odysseus then melted, wept, and clasped his dear and faithful wife to his bosom, like one whose shipwreck sees the shore rejoice, so thankful e'en for life escaping death, if only for today, and to live in hope. And they could not let go of one another. They kissed and braced and kissed again, O gods! Indeed, they would have indulged all night long, till rosy-fingered dawn appeared, except Athena, in her mercy and her wisdom, halted the progression of the stars and stopped the turning earth, held back the night, and would not suffer the rising of the sun, nor would allow that rosy-fingered dawn should stir, nor let the rolling waves that undulate upon the wine-dark sea be moved, nor let the tides that ebb and flow, nor let the hourglass drop another pin until those two were fully satisfied, which took a long, long time. You don't give up. You don't give up, ever. Because someone needs you bad. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out for Charlie Bethel's Beowulf. I am John Heimbuch. I am performing next at 5:30 in Space Lounge, part of Sci-Fi, Skolsterar's Sci-Fi Reading Hour with music by Callie McMorrow. So very excited for that. It will be a very different piece than these. Thank you. listening better than I was.